It is about time, guys. Yes, finally about time. The process of buying percent off is going to be banned from Dofus as of September 6th maintenance, as stated here. And Karma has made this article, posted yesterday on the 31st of August, explaining how it's going to work and how they're going to stop percent off buyers. I'm going to link this article in the description box below so you can read it in detail. So, what is percent off buying? It's the process of buying an item for a large percentage cheaper than what the item is actually worth. Now, over the past 10 years or so, I've actually had no problem with percent off buyers because I feel it's the fault of the seller who is making the loss. And, if you just sell the item in the market, then someone will buy it properly for the full price. But if you sell it percent off to a buyer, then it's your fault for making the loss. It just requires a bit more patience to sell in the market. But in the long run, it's actually worth it to do that compared to selling to a percent off buyer. So during this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on percent off buying and show you a couple of ways which I've discovered why percent off buying is actually a complete rip-off, and also show you a few screenshots of how to mess with percent off buyers. So, this article here basically summarizes that the main problem of buying percent off is that it spams the trade chat, community chat, and general chat. So if you play Dofus and you have the trade chat opened, you probably know what I'm talking about. It is flooded with people buying percent off. So I'm logged into the game here, and I'll basically show you, I'll pretend to be a percent off buyer and show you how it works. So for example, if there was somebody who's trying to sell me a Rhinital amulet, and let's say the Rhinital amulet was 3% fire resistance. So what I would do is I'll go through the market and look at the cheapest 3% fire resistance amulet. In this case, is 6.8 million. If the price that I'm going to buy is 30% off, then I'll calculate what 70% of 6.8 million is. And that turns out to be roughly 4.7 million or so. So I'll be paying 4.7 million for a Rhinital amulet that a seller has offered to show me. Now, the problem with this is that percent off buyers do not actually consider the stats. So a while ago, I saw 2% off buyers in the trade chat here. Name is Nevenoru and Tormina. They're buying percent off. And I offered to sell my Rhinital amulet to them and wanted to see what the offer was. So as you can see here, this is a perfect stats Rhinital amulet with the exception of prospecting, because prospecting is not important in PvP anyway. But yeah, it's perfect stats and it's 3% fire. And then they offered to pay 5 million and 4.7 million. Now, obviously this is a rip-off because this amulet alone would go for about 20 million given how perfect it is. So that's just one example. Now, if we keep scrolling in the trade chat here, you'll notice that the majority of the posts here are actually percent off buyers. And I'll tell you something funny, guys. All of these people are actually the same person. See, all of this. And I'll show you how I know that later on. Alright, if we keep going. Okay, so at 226 and 227, they offered me the price. I didn't reply. And then about 7 minutes later, they both offered me the price again at the precise moment, basically. So they are basically the same person. Like, there's no other way that they can coordinate with each other to give a price at the same time again, unless they're the same person. Even if they weren't the same person, this wouldn't occur because percent off buyers are actually in competition with each other. They want the sellers to sell to them, not to their friend or anything. So yeah, they're the same person. And then randomly this guy just messages 5 million again later on for some weird reason. But if you check the chat here, it's like the majority of the chat is spammed with percent off buyers, which is the major reason why Ankama needs to do something about this. Okay, to up the ante, I'm going to message them a couple of rings that are high stat exos. So let's get this corruption ring 1 AP and also this Rhinoeater ring 1 MP. But I'll also add in some high stat exos that my friend linked me. Let's see. Okay, let's do this one. MP Barbaric Wedding Ring with max damage. And then I'll see what they say. Okay. And then I'll also send the same thing to the other guy. Okay, like that. So Tormenta and the Veneru. Okay, while we wait for a reply, let's go through some screenshots. Okay, so one time I was standing on the equipment market map and I went AFK for like 2 hours. I just forgot that I had my computer on and I went outside. Essentially, checking the general chat, this Selena Gomez guy spamming message after message like this. And another screenshot here was back in the -1-0 map, the one next to the Zap. Basically, I stole his merchant spot, and then he started to beg me to give back the merchant slot. Basically, you want to see random merchants in that spot. They're selling Dofu's eggs for overpriced. So, for example, they'd be getting like a coward Dofu's and selling it for 2 million. Looks like Selena Gomez will have to go back to Justin Bieber for an allowance now. Okay, so I got a reply of 55 million karmas for these 3 rings in total. Now, I'm not going to even tell you guys, but anyone who plays on Echo will know that the cost of these 3 rings combined is at minimum 100 million karmas. You can check the market on Echo yourself. The price of this Barbaric Wedding Ring is like at minimum 40 million. So the fact that this guy is offering 55 million for all 3 rings, you'd have to be pretty stupid to sell it to him. Anyways, I got a bit curious and I wanted to find what they'd offer for the Rhinoeater ring specifically. So I asked Tormenta and Pack for their offer on the Rhinoeater ring. And they said 20 million and 18 million. So let's just have a look at the market and see just how reasonable it is. So we start off with the worst EXO, and we keep going down. Keeping in mind that my ring is 19 water damage and 5% critical hits. Okay, so the ring that is anywhere near as close to the stats is this one for 34 million. And Pack is offering 18 million, which is almost 50% off. Tormenta's 20 million, which is about 40% off. So I've got no idea how they think that any seller would be dumb enough to sell to them for this price. I'm definitely not dumb enough to sell it for that price, but maybe there are other people. Who knows? So after what I've just shown you guys, you're probably thinking the easiest way to avoid percent off buyers is to simply not message them an item. Now, you might be right, but sometimes when you try to sell an item in the trade chat, just normally selling Cthulhu Mask, there will be percent off buyers who give you a price like by private message, 3 million, 4 million. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's not too bad for a Cthulhu Mask. That sounds about right. However, little do you know that the Cthulhu Mask is actually 5% earth resistance. I actually bought this item for 45 million karmas about 3 years ago, and I put a video online. But yeah, 4 million, 3 million, come on. That's just ridiculous. Other examples, sometimes on the Echo Discord, we do quite a bit of trolling towards percent off buyers. So I'd like to show you this one. Dofu's egg price manipulation and off via HQ. In case you're not sure what this reference is, basically the percent off buyers are usually from third world countries who, can't afford to earn a living, very poor, need to play Dofus for a living, put bread on the table, and they need to do it in a manipulative way. In this case, is buying percent off So this is just a little funny image to show the type of accommodation that these percent off buyers actually have when conducting their percent off buying practices. Lastly is this classic one here. I've blanked out the name, but if you're in the Echo Discord, I'm pretty sure you know who this is. Basically, this guy is going on about how he has a massive team and he is a percent off buyer himself. So guaranteed that two of these characters are the two that I faced today. The Tormina guy and the Nevenoru guy are probably him. You know, if he has a computer strong enough to run, I don't know how many that is, 30 accounts or so, pretty sure he can get a real life job if he has that much money and stop these ridiculous practices. Anyways, guys, that's it from me for this video. Let me know what you think about buying percent off. Do you think it's right? Do you think it's wrong? How do you feel about Ankama acting to ban these practices? See you at the next video.